There's a comp that everybody forgets. Today I'd like to talk to you about pricing strategies and the value of your home. So when we're assigning a value to a house, we take a look at several factors. We do a lot of analysis. In fact, our analysis usually amounts to about 75 pages worth of data. But everybody takes a look at the comps. Everybody's looking at what are the recent sales. Now, there are a couple things we need to remember about the recent sales. They have to be very recent. And something that sold 6 months ago, or sometimes even last month, may not be relevant to the value of the property now because things change and they change quickly. So we always have as short of a span of time as we can possibly manage when we're taking a look at properties that have sold recently. And we really don't call them comps necessarily. We prefer to call them relevant properties because sometimes properties that are going to affect the value of the house may not be exactly like that house. So there's always many factors to be concerned with. So when we go on a listing appointment, people always have done some research. That's just perfectly normal. They've taken a look at Zillow. They've taken a look at some things that have sold recently. But if they sold a few months ago, we can't expect those market conditions to still apply today. And there's a second comp that everyone forgets. It's the competitors. And that's really important when we're coming up with a pricing strategy because we have to think like a buyer. So let's just say the property, the comparables and everything, it comes out to its value is $400,000. So we start thinking like a buyer then. All right, I've got $400,000 in my pocket. What can I buy today? So we take a look at that. If there's another property that's $400,000 and it's better, or maybe there's one that's less than $400,000 and it's just as good, well, guess which one I'm going to buy? A buyer's going to go with that, which means our property is going to sit on the market and the other two are going to sell first. That all factors into our strategy. So keep in mind, there's two comps: comparable sales and competitors. So that's the thing. And one thing I'd like to add is that we don't get to decide what the value of the property is. And I know that might be shocking to a lot of people, but the truth of the matter is the market decides what the property is worth. It's going to be whatever somebody's willing to pay and a seller's willing to accept. And at the end of the day, that's it. Now, there's one little caveat to that if a mortgage is involved, then they're going to do an appraisal to make sure that that property is indeed worth what it's selling for. Because a bank doesn't want to put themselves in a bad position where they may have some additional risk that they don't want. So they don't want that buyer paying more for the house than what it's really worth. So even if you're lucky enough to get a buyer to agree to an inflated price, that's going to present a problem later on in the transaction. So we try and avoid that as well. So the market decides the price. Our job is to come up with a strategy to get the highest price possible. I'm Chuck Vosberg from Next Home Gulf to Bay. Along with my wife, Pat, we're your favorite realtors. And ask us anything. We'll tell you anything you want to know. No strings attached. We put humans over houses. That's our motto. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.